Hello everyone and welcome to today's session. Today we are going to understand a very important and evolving conflict in West Asia, the ongoing Israel-Hezbollah war in Lebanon and how it's connected with the broader regional tension that involving Iran and United States. This topic is extremely important for UPSC, SSC and other state level examination because it combines international relations, security and current affairs in a dynamic way. So to understand this issue clearly, let's first look at what exactly happening on the ground right now. As we all know that when the conflict was involving Israel and Iran continues, another intense and possibly more brutal front has opened in Lebanon. On March 60, Israel launched a ground offensive against Hezbollah in southern Lebanon. Alongside this, it has carried out large air strikes in the southern Lebanon and the southern suburbs of Beirut. These attacks have caused heavy casualty with over 1,000 people killed and nearly millions were displaced. So the ground of fighting between Israel and Lebanon is namely taking place in the hilltops towns in the southern Lebanon, where the Israeli forces are forcing the strong resistance from Hezbollah fighters. So what we are seeing is not just a airstrikes, but a full-scale military confrontation that involving the ground troops as well. Now, once we understand what is happening, the next logical question is why did Israel launch this offensive? As we all know that on a paper, a ceasefire has already been reached between Israel and Hezbollah in November 2024. This ceasefire came after a period of intense fighting aimed at weakening the Hezbollah. However, despite this ceasefire, the tension never truly ended. So to understand this better, we need go back slightly. When Israel launched its military operation in Gaza after October 7, 2023 attack by Hamas, Hezbollah entered the conflict by firing rockets into the Sheba Farms region, which was claimed by Lebanon but occupied by Israel. This triggered a cycle of retaliation by Israel. They carried out airstrikes. The Hezbollah responded with the more rocket attacks and the situation kept escalating. Then came a major turning point. In September 2024, Israel assassinated Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah in an airstrikes. This was a strategic move to weaken the Hezbollah leadership before launching a larger ground operation. Although a ceasefire was agreed upon later, the Israel continued to frequent airstrikes in Lebanon while Hezbollah showed a limited response. This situation that escalated further in February 2026 when Iran's supreme leader Ali Khamenei was killed in a joint Israel-American strikes. This event had a direct impact on the region. In response, Hezbollah fired hundreds of rockets into the northern Israel, which led to the Israel to retaliate again. At the same time, it escalated into a full-scale ground offensive. At this point, to fully understand the conflict, we must step back to and ask a basic question. What exactly is Hezbollah? What we can say that Hezbollah is not just a militant group. It is a political and a social organization that based on Lebanon with a strong support among the Shia population. Its origin go back to the late 20th century and in 1978, again in 1982, the Israel invaded the southern Lebanon to push out the Palestine militant groups that operating under the Palestine Liberation Organization. While the Israel succeeded in weakening the PLO, this invasion led to the unintended consequence. They created the condition for the rise of Hezbollah. With the support from the Iran, especially after the Iranian Revolution of 1979, the Hezbollah emerged as a resistance force against the Israeli presence in Lebanon, and over the time, it became a powerful organization. They combining military strength with the political influence. In fact, Hezbollah's guerrilla tactics forced the Israeli force to withdraw from the southern Lebanon in 2000, which the group described the Hezbollah, the group which described as the major victory. But later in 2006, the Israel again went to the war with the Hezbollah, but even after a month of fighting, it could not decisively defeat this group. This historical background that helps us to understand why Hezbollah is not just another armed group, it is deeply embedded in the Lebanon's political and social system. Now, moving forward, the next important question is, how strong is Hezbollah today? Hezbollah is widely considered one of the most powerful non-state military actors in the world. Over the years, what we can say that they built a large arsenals of rockets and missiles, and they gained a battlefield experience, especially during the Syrian civil war, where they fought alongside with the President Bashar al-Assad. However, in its current situation is more complex. In 2024, the Israeli intelligence operation, including they targeted the attacks on Hezbollah leadership that significantly weakened its command structure. At the same time, the regional development further reduced the strength of Hezbollah. For example, the fall of Assad government in Syria that disturbed the crucial link between Iran and Hezbollah. Earlier, the Syria acted as a land bridge through which Iran supplied the weapon and support to the Hezbollah. With the link weakened, Hezbollah now strategically position also suffered. So, despite these setbacks, Hezbollah has not disappeared. Instead, it has used this period to reorganize themselves and rebuild its leadership. And they prepared for a further conflict. So this period that explains why even now it is capable for launching a large-scale rocket attacks and offering a strong resistance to the Israeli force on the ground. Now that we understand the both sides, the next question is what does Israel want to achieve through this offensive? If you try to understand what is happening on the ground right now, we can say the Israel objective appears to be quite clear. They want to weaken or completely dismantle the Hezbollah military capability, and they want to push it to the fighters away from the borders and create a buffer zone inside the Lebanese territory to ensure a long-term security. To achieve this, Israel has raised evacuation orders in the southern Lebanon that targeted the key infrastructure like bridges to cut off the supply lines and increase the pressure on Lebanese government to take action against the Hezbollah. On other hand, Hezbollah presents a very different narrative. They claim that it defending the Lebanese territory against the Israel aggression. They continued the rocket and drone attack show that it still retained the significant military capability. At the ground level, the situation is intense. The Israeli forces are facing strong resistance in areas like Kaima, a strategically important highland region. The Hezbollah is using asymmetrical warfare tactics, hit and run attacks, and guerrilla strategy to counter the Israel conventional military strength. So, when we look at the overall picture, it becomes clear that this is not a simple conflict with the quick resolution. Israel has tried to the past to eliminate or push back to the Hezbollah, but with the limited success. At this point, the Hezbollah, through weekend, continue to resist effectively, and ultimately the biggest impact of this conflict is being felt by the ordinary people. But we can say that large peoples of civilian in Lebanon have been displaced, the infrastructure has been damaged, and the humanitarian situation is worsening. This brings us to a crucial understanding for exams. This conflict is not just about the Israel and Hezbollah. It is part of larger regional struggle that involving Iran proxy groups and the geopolitical power balance in West Asia. If you understand the history, the actors involved, and the strategic objectives of both sides, you will be able to handle any question that related to this topic, whether in prelims, mains, or in the interview. Thank you. Keep analyzing the issue with the clarity, and I will see you in the next session. Thank you all.